And on Saturday, or the last Saturday gone, we had the Division 2 Grand Final at Preston City Oval. It was Whittlesea who prevailed to go back into Division 1, just a one-year spell in second division, a 3-goal win over the Fitzroy Stars. Tom, it wasn't the ideal start to the game. It's not beat around the bush. It was an unfortunate incident. Saw Lionel Proctor leave the ground on a stretcher. Paul Harrison was red carded. Obviously, it wasn't a great start, but from there, once the game got going, it was a great contest, it has to be said. Really free-flowing at times, particularly in the first half, a high-scoring game. Whittlesea's attacking prowess was sensational. They did to the Stars what many felt the Stars might do to them. They spread so well. Lucas Hobbs got some space. I thought Brenton Briffa was great on the outside, and in the end, the Eagles winning and going back into the top flight, where they felt that they were unlucky to go down last year. Well, they're back in no time, aren't they?
Well, they were very stiff to go down last year, but as you just said, they bounced back in rousing fashion with the win on the weekend over the Fitzroy Stars. You feel like they were probably a little bit shell-shocked in the first quarter of the Stars after the unfortunate incident, obviously, but the Whittlesea midfield, as you just alluded to, were absolutely outstanding. The Dyson boys, Garrett Heenan inside, they were fantastic for 4 quarters. And as you just mentioned, Briffa and Hobbs were brilliant on the outside and were able to give them some real run.
I thought early on, in the first half in particular, Jeremy Page set the tone out of the middle. He won a fair bit of ball, but his ruck work really got the midfield going as well. He was so important. Hobbs, he kicked 4 of his 5 goals prior to half-time as well. The Fitzroy Stars, they had the best player on the ground, Malcolm Dow, just accumulated a ton of the ball. He doesn't waste a disposal. It was no surprise to see him right up there in the coaches' votes, coaches' player of the year votes, as announced on Monday night. He finished second, just one vote behind the eventual winner, Shane Harvey. Inside also, Mungara Brown, Caelan Brown played pretty good games. Mungara Brown unfortunately received his marching orders in the third quarter as well. But for them, it was probably the slow start. But also the 4 goals just before half-time, they'd worked their way back into it. They looked in control. They were 2 goals down and potentially looked like leading at half-time. But Whittlesea got that 7 or 8 minutes of domination on the back end of the second quarter, and that's what hurt the Stars in the end, because they ran out of rotations, but having to come from so far behind was a really tough ask.
It was that flick of the switch and the change of momentum that really won the game for Whittlesea during the late part of that quarter, where, as you just said, the Stars were getting right back into the contest, and you felt like if they could have pushed for another 5 or 10 minutes, then they would have been right back in the game, but Whittlesea then turned on the switch and were just able to take the game away from them for a period of time. It was very difficult for them to get back into it after that.
Well, Jai Brennan hurt his ankle as well, so that hurt the Stars' rotations. But I thought one of the big winners on the ground for Whittlesea was Luke Deeds and the job he did throughout the afternoon on Paddy Davis. There was 3 moments, I think it was in the first or the third quarter, if I'm right, where he won 3 contests in a row. I'm pretty sure it was early on, where he took 2 marks. Another time got a spoil him when he looked like he was gone for all money as well. And I thought he was great coming into the back line. Chris Allman did his job as well. Obviously, his year looked over when he hurt his hip against the Stars back in round 15 or 16 as well. So Whittlesea, a great win for their football club, their second premiership in 4 years as well. They move back into the top flight. There's great depth there, probably a greater depth now than there was 12 months ago. Their reserves played off in the grand final. Their under-19s won the premiership this year as well. You just feel that they're better equipped now than what they probably were when they first went up back in 2011.
Most certainly. Well, they've added a couple of pieces to their group as well, and Fairchild and Hobbs have really developed a nice bond together where they can just play off each other, and the Whittlesea team does play through those 2 players, but they've got so many inside players in the middle of the ground who can be effective in the contest, and then, as you were mentioning just before, rebounding defenders like Deards and Sannington that are so effective in the one-on-one contest and also running out of the half-back line. They've got a pretty complete setup, and you feel like that they could challenge some of the teams at the lower end of Division 1 next year and possibly push some of the teams up at the higher end of the scale.
I think they'd be pretty confident they can again match and win enough games to avoid relegation. For them, they've played a lot of youngsters throughout the year as well. You look at the likes of Ada and Stefano, only youngsters themselves, and Nathan Andrews, who, if I'm right, is 18 years old, playing in a seniors grand final. So plenty of talent certainly pushing through there. The Stars, well, there's no doubting it. Next year they are going to be one of the sides to beat. So much to like about them. The way they performed throughout the whole year, they probably went under the radar a fraction because they were second and third on the ladder for most of the year behind Whittlesea and at times Diamond Creek and North. But so much to like about the side. When they got going in that 10 minutes in the second quarter, the whole crowd was a buzz, wasn't it? They kicked 4 goals in 5 minutes of game time. It was extraordinary. And you even go to the last quarter where John Hayes kicked that running goal from the middle where the ball was bounced. He sharked off the ruck contest, took a couple of bounces and drilled one. And they can score goals just so quickly. You look forward to seeing how they come back next year, because I think they'll be stronger. I think it'd be better for the experience. And I think the Fitzroy Stars, I know we're a long way down the track, but I think they're only going to improve further on what they produced in 2013.
Well, their ability to read the taps of Jeremy Page right in the middle of the ground, that was my favourite strength that I took away from the Fitzroy Stars game on Saturday. Mungara Brown and Caelan Brown, as you mentioned, Malcolm Dow running through the middle of the ground. They were fantastic. John Hayes with that running goal. There were a few players from the Fitzroy Stars who just burst away from the middle of the ground, had a little bit of assistance from teammates with Shepherds and whatnot, and then we were able to drill long goals from after a big run. Just outstanding stuff to watch, and the exciting players that they've got on that team, they're definitely going to challenge for next year.
Certainly, you probably feel that maybe just one key defender short, and if they can bulk up down back, that they're certainly going to be all over the field a pretty hard team to beat in 2013. So it was Whittlesea the premiers in 2013. Fitzroy Stars to run it up again. Malcolm Dow was the best on ground in that performance. The second year in a row, a player from the losing sides won the Division 2 best on ground medal. Of course, in 2012, Shane Harvey did that for North Heidelberg when they went down to Epping. We'll go to a break. On the other side of this, we'll go through all the wrap up from Monday night when the NFL held its 2013 Best and Fairest Awards.